Hey everyone, this is a topic I wanted to cover. I think it's often ignored, and some of the veterans that have been painting for a while, like you guys have collections of all different brands of paints, and different brands, they tend to use different kind of storage systems. Like Vallejo, Reaper, and Army Painter, they like to use these dropper bottles and testers, and P3, Tamiya, they like to use pots. Usually, for mixing paint, there's a bunch of different techniques on how to do it. I mean, whether it's using toothpicks to break up the pigment at the bottom if you have a pot and you have access to get down in there. For droppers, it seems kind of limited. You can't really put a stirrer down there or a agitator like the ones that Badger makes, the electronic ones. They don't fit down the neck, so we tend to use our own agitators, kind of like what Reaper implements in their bottles stock. They put a little pewter skull down there. Now, for us, we got to find things that work in there. For me, I just use split shot. This is normally used these are fishing weights, lead fishing weights. And they're about the right size to fit down in that bottle. And it's as simple as cracking the bottle open and placing the weight right into the neck. Putting the cap on, and now you have an agitator in the bottle that'll help scrape the sides and break up some of the pigment that sticks to the bottom when you store them upright for a while. And I have no idea if the lead affects the paint at all. I haven't seen it, or I haven't seen any difference. I think that's pretty much it for that type. I mean, it's pretty standard. People have been doing that for a while. I've been doing it for a couple years now, and people use everything from like lava rocks used in fish tanks to BBs, which I think have been reported to actually corrode in water-based paints. Yeah, I haven't had a problem with any of the split shot weights, and they're fairly cheap and easy to come by if people do fishing in your area or going to a sporting goods store. If you look at the Vallejo bottles, in the FAQ, someone asked the question, what's the proper way to shake the bottle? I'll shake a brand new bottle of this up, and when I go to put it out, or when I open the bottle, I wonder if I can make it happen here. If you open the bottle, you kind of get that going on. It just kind of drips out like a foam. All that paint bubbling up in the space of the bottle. This guy asked a question on the Vallejo FAQ where it was answered, and they said the proper way to mix Vallejo paint is to actually spin it. And I thought, well, I guess that works, but how are you doing this at home? You can't fit one of the electronic agitators down in there. How are you going to do it? You can put it in your hand and pretend you're warming them over a fire. Do that for a while, but you're supposed to put it on its side and roll it. And what that does is it prevents it from creating the bubbles that come out of the top and all that good stuff. Well, I'm impatient, so what did I do? I grabbed my drill and I said, hey, these dropper bottles, the tips on them, bet you that'll fit in the drill. So I did a test run. So here we got the drill, and I opened up the chuck enough to where I can get the bottle in there and decided to give it a run. Mind you, you want to make sure that the drill is spinning to go tighten, or basically spinning clockwise. If you're behind it, it'll spin clockwise. Basically in the same direction that you are going to tighten the lid of the paint. If you don't do that and you put too much speed on the trigger, it might actually loosen the top and send your paint flying, which is no good. So basically, just to check, you could barely squeeze the trigger like this. And we are ready to go. So you give it a couple quick pumps. And as you saw there, it eventually loosens up. The weight starts to get wobbly and stuff like that. But pretty much at that point, I think you're ready to go. As far as spinning the paint goes, I think you're pretty much ready to put this out on the palette and go to work. There's nothing coming out of the top of that. It's amazing. So those are my 2 ways of mixing paint, right? We got the agitator that's in there, and you could do both. You could put the agitators in and spin it. It's a very quick way. I always have a drill next to my desk for pinning purposes, and I have a full-size drill here. This is a DeWalt. It works pretty well. So if you guys have any cool ways of mixing your paint, I know some of you guys might be using Life Color, all that other stuff. There might be other people out there using it too. If you got any special ways of mixing paint or just little tricks and stuff, let's not ignore that. Let's share that information and respond to this with a video response, or comment down below some links to where to buy these cool little things to help this neglected step of painting, which is the shaking, go a little bit faster so we can actually get to the work. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I'll catch you next time.